You gave me all that time to fix myself and share that I was live here. I slept on it. Damn it.
We should have that playing in the background all the time.
We should. Well, I'm going to do this. If anybody in the comment section can tell me what band that was in the intro before the end of the live stream, I will send them a pile of patches and stickers tomorrow morning.
Oh, that could be a good swag bag right there.
I have a pile of shit that I've accumulated over the years, so it won't just all be like Tremis Dynamic stuff. You'd be all kinds of like, that bag of shit that we bring back from SHOT Show every year. It'd be one of those.
Yeah. I have the tote bag full of stuff from SHOT Show, and I haven't opened it since SHOT Show.
Well, you got a special bag because of SHOT Show, so we can see why you wouldn't bother with the little people who just have the tote.
Oh, you mean the winning bag, like my sweepstakes that I won?
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
We got Alpha Charlie Concepts is here. I told John earlier today I'd give him a shout out when I saw he was in the house.
I like that guy.
Adam Hall, good to see you. Colt Manny, like some decent people other than the co-hosts and the co-hosts. I guess that like the hosts, because the co-host makes it sound like I'm just talking to Mike.
Well, Tom's a guest.
I'm a guest.
Don't want me with host.
The talent, everyone but the talent.
Right.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, there's no courtesy for me anymore. Like It's just like, oh, Mike just shows up all the time.
Sometimes
shut up.
Yeah. It's hard to show up uninvited. Like I just like weasel my way into your Restream account. Like,
or I'll be sitting here and like
invite
me over.
Yeah, I'll just edge you into the side of the screen. I mean, I know how to get into your house. Like, and let's face it,
I know how to make breaking and entering a possibility.
Yeah. It's not even breaking and entering. I have like carte blanche. Like,
I know how to enter and enter.
Yeah.
Yes. I know the code that he has on his lock.
And the dog knows me.
Yep.
That's, I don't know what's trying to get past him or Jen. Like that's which one's harder?
I'd be like, he's upstairs. Take him out of this house.
She's like, can you just make him not be miserable?
Take him with you somewhere?
No, but I can distract him for a small amount of time.
Well, I guess we should do the normal housekeeping stuff. Tonight's live stream is brought to everyone by, I guess you can't even see it because of the way what if I move people?
You can make me small. It's okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this for a minute. So right here, Ammo Supply Warehouse is tonight's live stream sponsor.
Platinum.
What's that?
Platinum sponsor?
Platinum sponsor. I do believe so, yes. Tremis10. It's a coupon code. Will get you $10 off any order of $100 or more at the Ammo Supply Warehouse. There is a rumor going around that if you live in a state where you have to sign for ammunition or not have high capacity magazines, whatever those are, I guess that's like a 200 round belt, that he'll send them to you anyway. This is what I've heard. I've
heard this rumor.
Okay. I can't verify because I live in a state where they let me have shit. So
right.
I could never verify that anyways.
We live in America.
Also, the other sponsor up above right there is Five Rivers Armament. They are a what's some other the Cobalt sponsor. That sounds expensive.
Oh, Palladium.
Ooh, that sounds fancy too.
Adamantium.
If you buy a Tremis Dynamic signature rifle from Midwest Industries and have it shipped there, they will transfer it for free.
I like how you just came up with that one day and they just like, I guess that's a thing.
Yep, he's had to do it twice now. So
if I say it enough, it becomes reality.
I willed it into existence like orcs.
There you go.
Mike's like, wait, what? Yeah, we'll get to it, Mike.
Oh, no!
Oh, is this going to be a fucking 40K live stream? Like, do I just need to like find something to do on my phone for a while during like the middle of this thing?
No, you should accept the knowledge and education that you may receive.
Yes. Well, I've been known to be a nerd. I just like that one section of the nerddom of the nerd universe was not one that I dabbled in growing up. So like
And you're wrong for that.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying like I have zero knowledge in it. Like,
Well, the good news is it's never too late to expand your nerddom.
it's true.
It was in an episode of South Park, and that's all you really need to know. That's how big a deal it is, right?
Yeah, but South Park is. I mean, they hit it out of the park every now and then, but like they got a little over the top, like in the
No.
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 So and we'll get to some of that, especially when we get to the book of the week segment. But what we need to do is we need to introduce our guest. I'm going to move our guest over to the big box.
Oh, no.
There he is.
There we go.
Oh, now
All right.
I'm important.
Good sir, please introduce yourself to the dozen of people that are watching.
Hi there, I'm Tom Holyby with That's Your Guy Defense, and that's how I start all of my videos and I have to do this. So it's an editing trick I figured out. It's because I'm only recording on my phone like this. It's how I figure out where the hell the start is, because I have to press record and then walk around.
Oh.
And then usually I say a few swears that I don't want in the video and other stuff just like that. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. Hello there, Tom Holyby with That's Your Guy Defense. I am.
Interesting that you use a phone and you have to have an editing trick because you've blown up on the internet.
Well, once or twice.
Like insanely popular, like traffic out the wazoo.
Which time are we talking about?
Well, I'm just adding it all together. That the TikTokers would be like, look at the traffic he's getting and click through rate, and I don't even know what any of those terms mean, but it's got to be good.
You know what's terrific is I never made a TikTok. Someone out there made an entire TikTok, an entire YouTube, just for me.
What?
That I had no idea existed. So while all that silly shenanigans were going on, people would comment or write me and be like, "Hey, did you see what the so and so said on TikTok?" I was like, "I don't even have a TikTok, so no."
And they were like, "Yes, you do." And I'm like, "No, I don't."
No.
Since when do I have a TikTok? When did this happen?
I went as viral as I've ever gone on TikTok. I only have I peaked at like a little over 1,000 followers, subscribers, whatever the fuck they call them over there. And but I did it in a day. Like my fourth short video I stuck up there fucking blew up. I got 100,000 views on it and 1,000 followers, and then it fucking petered off. I got a bunch of community violations because I had guns in the videos. But everything else all the other social medias that I have any following on, it was a slow burn of more than a decade. But TikTok, week 1, through the roof. I mean, through the roof for me anyway.
Yeah.
I haven't hit the tipping point yet on any crazy things. I guess I'm too tame. Like,
you got to use the hashtags. So with those original videos, it was my wife who would hold the phone for me because I didn't have a tripod. So she was just so kind as to just hold that. And she knew all the inner workings and algorithmic details of Instagram and how to do it. And she'd wake me up in the morning and be like, "All right, you got to go make a video. If you want to take off, you got to go make a video." All right. It can only be this long. All right. And then she'd put all the hashtags in. And then out of all the ones I made, that was the one that took off. Well, I was like, I was surprised.
I had a bunch of people ask me about it. I was like, I might keep my phone on mute. So I said, if it doesn't have fucking closed captions, I have no idea what's going on in any videos on Instagram or shorts or reels or whatever the fuck any platform happens to call them, unless I make a point of going and setting some time aside where it's quiet enough to hear it. And your sling video, the big one, that was the one that I read all the comments first. And was like, the internet's a terrible place, and I hate some of these people.
So I lost that entire Instagram, but I was able to recover my Facebook.
Oh,
So if you scroll in the Facebook, you can actually go and find it. It's all there with all the very kind and loving comments of nothing but support and accolades and pats on the back. And, you should totally live a long time and be happy. I was like,
it's exactly the vibe I was getting.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny to go back and you look at it and it's like, now that some time has passed, it's like, hey, I know that guy. Hey, I know that guy.
But someone had to look up and was like, oh, I know who that dude is. I didn't know this Instagram handle, but now I want to punch him for being a jerk. That's all right. The number one person in the thread, who I'm not going to name, Mike knows who it is. I'm pretty sure you know who it is.
Yeah. Let's just say there was enough said.
I did shoot that motherfucker later with the UTM round, so I felt better about myself.
And the internet is a magical place where people, from a perspective of anonymity, feel that they can say whatever they want because there is zero risk to their face involved. And Instagram, I've been checking. Instagram's the worst spot. It's absolutely, because everyone's got fucking made up handles and stuff, and it's not tied to their business. It's their backup account to their backup account. And it's like, my name is Ask Guy Official. And now I'm going to say egregious shit.
Dude, if you think Instagram is crazy, you should check out Reddit. Reddit is like the Wild West of it. Still has a level of anonymity to it that like is just unparalleled.
It's fun people, just fun people. Again, they'll always say it on the internet, and you just let that go. I just want to know how much money was made off of me, because Spinning When there says someone was making money off you on TikTok. I want to know how much you made. How valuable am I? Hang on a minute.
It's a really good question.
I never thought of that.
Yeah. Well, for a while,
I see ads all the time, like start a faceless YouTube channel. I'm like, I don't need it to be faceless. I just need it to be someone else's face.
Just use mine.
Seems to work.
Look, that idiot there is saying more shit.
The question is there enough footage of you online already that AI could do a good job of replicating you to say whatever it is I want you to say?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know how much they needed, to base footage so that they could nail it.
Like 5 minutes.
There's plenty.
Well, so Tom, what I'm going to need you to do is look to your left and then look to your right.
Okay.
Perfect. I have everything I need now.
Perfect. I got this later.
I'm already typing away on Chat GPT. I need Tom to say he'll never take his arm out of his sling ever again. He's going to have it surgically.
I will stay forever hard mounted to slings.
He's going to sew the sling to his body, and when he wants to take the rifle off, he'll take it off of the sling.
The rifle comes off the sling.
Well, forget even using a sling. You could just like pierce the hardware into your body.
Absolutely.
You could do like a nipple ring with like a QD lever, or, the little sling loop. QD
What's
sling.
that? The spring clip, the spring
HK clip.
HK clip.
Just stitch it into my arm, right?
And you can have like a low mount for like a single point sling, like coming out of a Prince Albert. It attaches to the muzzle.
It's crazy because I didn't think people gave that much of a fuck about slings when I made that video. Honest to God, I didn't.
You know what? I don't think they do. I honestly
No.
don't think they give two shits about slings.
No.
What they they gave a shit about was like, this guy's got an opinion. Let's fuck him.
And then when
Figuratively and literally too.
Yeah.
when they saw that somebody that they held in some regard jumped on you, that's like, oh, it's safe to dogpile this guy.
Oh,
because
yeah.
look, this famous person did it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I think one of my favorite hate comments that I got was, I don't know what an ashigaru is, but I know what a Harry Carey is, and you should go do that.
God damn.
I was like, oh shit.
I mean, when people make a good one, you gotta give them credit.
When it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
What am I gonna do? No, you
lie.
can't say that.
I'm offended.
I'm triggered. You and the other 40,000 people have said something. Oh no.
So you, Tom, you teach some stuff.
Allegedly.
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 Where you do that at?
I teach out of Centralia, Washington. It's kind of a hodunk town in the middle of Washington. So
I'll bet you it's way bigger than Centralia, PA.
It's possible.
Well, our Centralia has 12 people in it, so.
Oh, well then, yes, absolutely. If you Google the Great Wolf Lodge in Washington, I teach about 15 minutes away from that.
Okay.
So it's a really, really nice spot. So like if you want to bring family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not to Washington. Sorry.
I've been to Washington. It's pretty.
I'm bringing my family to Washington.
Centralia is nice. Don't go to Seattle
for like fucking 23 hours straight.
Seattle's not a fun place to be. Neither is Tacoma.
I wouldn't go there.
I don't know. I had fun in Seattle. I thought it was pretty cool.
When were you there last?
Well, I mean, it was like, it's like 12 years ago or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of days. I mean, first off, all right, I got to give credit where credit's due. The EMP Museum, I don't even know if they call it the EMP Museum anymore, like the Museum of like rock and roll and pop history and all that stuff.
Oh, the Pop Culture Museum.
Pop Culture Museum. That thing is awesome. Like,
yeah, they got Kurt Cobain's shotgun in there.
Do they?
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
the actual one.
Oh, I missed that one, but I did. Okay, you want to get into nerd stuff? They have when I was there, they had an entire wing gallery, whatever you want to call it, devoted to Magic the Gathering artwork. Mm-hmm. So they had the actual paintings that the artists do for Magic the Gathering cards, and like just a whole gallery of these things in like actual giant. You see these things, you're like, hey, that's like the Black Lotus, or
that artwork's terrible. That can't be.
I know this is the first one that popped into my head, but like, that's Gideon's Avenger. Like that stuff was like that was super cool. A bunch of like television show props and stuff. Like it was that probably one of the coolest museums I've ever been to. Other than that, I could take or leave anything else, but
I think it's still a good. It depends because they have different things all the time.
Yeah, it's a museum. They change shit.
I think when I went, they had Star Wars, so they had the Boba Fett costume from Empire, not the TV show,
right?
Because that hadn't even come out yet. So they had that, and they had Luke's lightsaber and all that cool stuff. So if you're going to see the Pop Culture Museum, it's kind of you really want to check first, like what's going to be there.
Yeah.
Because they've done things like the Teletubby Museum, and it's like, well, I'd love to take my children, but you guys also right next door have like I would never take a child here stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you guys had that when no children can't get into the museum. You guys are weird. Please stop. But other than that, I wouldn't go to Pike's Place. Like all the touristy spots that Seattle's known for, you couldn't pay me to go to those places. Like Pike's Place smells like piss now, just straight, unfettered. Like most of the shopkeepers are gone. The Space Needle is like over expensive. There's just nothing fun to see there anymore.
That's
What
the
a
case in
bummer.
most cities, but
Carry Narcan because it's at Seattle's open air drug use.
Ugh.
Yeah, so like you got people smoking fentanyl, and they're just a lot of right in your face. There's nothing you can do about it.
oh, we have a Zach Bush and a Sonny Pazikas in the comment section.
Wow.
Two of my
Yeah.
favorite instructors.
Me too.
I like them. I don't know if they like me, but I like them.
Well, I mean, you know, did they dogpile you on the sling video? I mean,
Sonny's not allowed to dogpile me on the sling video. He's the one who fucking taught me this shit.
Yeah.
He made a response video that they also the internet also dogpiled on.
yep, I remember that too. Actually, I probably watched that one first and then was like, wait, I got to go back and actually dig into this. Oh, look, and my favorite instructor of all time is also in the comment section.
I haven't met Jay yet. I have to meet Jay.
What?
I'm going to see Jay at the muster.
Yes.
Yes.
So, countdown to the muster.
Yes.
Do it.
Probably
Yes.
do that right.
And because I forgot to mention it on Andrew's live stream, I will be teaching BBB, my bedside bullshit class, after the muster.
Where are people going to sign up for that at?
Right now, you're going to have to message me on Facebooks and Instagrams because I don't have a website yet. I'm working on it.
Why? Okay. Why don't you? Why?
Because reasons and such.
All right. Well,
my wife said she's going to fix this problem for me soon.
I love people who are like, yeah, I don't have a website. I'm gonna, like you just make them get on it. Takes a couple days.
I had one and then I lost the rights because I didn't change the card information when it expired.
Oh no! Yeah,
and now it's gone forever. I was like, shit.
I had a website. I'm not going to mention the name because I'm hoping someday to be able to repurchase it again. And it did the same. Like it expired. I forgot all about it. Nobody bought it. Like nobody bought it to use it, but one of them companies bought it to park it and wants $9,000 for it. I was like, it's only ever been used for like 1 year of an existence. And the dude that got it for $10. Like, you really think somebody's going to pay you $9,000 to get it now? And so I keep hoping. Like one time I saw it dropped to like $7,000 and then went back up to $9,000. So somebody's trying to make a buck off of my great website name.
At
least
it's the website name that they're trying to make the buck off, not some infamous video.
True. Although, like, I did get, I had a video. I guess wasn't my video. I was in the video that I don't know how it worked its way around, where it started its crawl through the internet. But the next time I saw it on the internet, Mr. Guns and Gear had shared it on his Facebook page. And I was like, oh, well, this is going to be popular. There was some downrange stuff. I think Zach Bush was in the fucking video.
Oh, no.
I think so.
I know which one that is.
You have video of Zach Bush breaking the 180-degree rule?
Yep. As a student.
Garbage instructor.
Yeah, he had a shitty instructor for that.
Well, being that you don't have a website, Tom, I just posted the link for how everyone can see at least the 2 classes that you have listed on Bulletin.
Well, I haven't updated it to have the summit on there.
Oh, well, the summit's on there, but you have bedroom bureau or bedroom bedside. Which one is it? Bullshit. That one's on there.
BBB.
And Stabus and Stubus in Centralia on May 24th is on there.
Stubus? I thought it was Stubbas.
It is Stubbas.
Stabbas and Stubbas.
Stabbas and Stubbas.
Wow. I thought it was like Russian, like Stubus.
No.
I mean, I guess depending how you say it, anything can be Russian.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Stop us.
put it with enough of an accent. Believe it or not, it actually helps me avoid algorithmic challenges when I post things because the algorithm doesn't know what those things are.
That makes some sense.
Which
Because
is
I've gotten community violations for mentioning a class because it says like dynamic pistol. And like, oh, you're selling a pistol. No, I'm selling a class. It's a gun safety class. That's always what was how I would get them like republished. But yeah, best because the word pistol was in it. They were like, oh, there you go. You're verboten and we're gonna kick you off the Instagrams or the whatevers.
Yeah, Stabbas and Stubbas is knife and gun. Literally,
Can it be a sword?
That's a chopper.
Get in the chopper. What language is that?
It's Orc.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm using the 40K stuff to bypass a lot of the algorithmic challenges that exist. Because if you
That's why
say
I do
these
it too.
things too often, algorithms start to shut you down apparently because they use AI to listen, but because the AI doesn't know what the hell any of a stabba, a stubba, a shooter, a burner, any of the stuff is, you can use it freely. So it's like if you watch certain people do live streams, like the big guys, when they're referring to vicious SA, they call it grape now, even though that's a ridiculous phrase for what is a heinous crime.
Yes.
But that's why people are changing verbiage around to bypass it because like Sonny here got ripped off of his live stream because he showed one.
Yeah, it happened to me too.
Yeah, so you gotta like avoid. You gotta get creative. And I was like, well, you know what? There's this thing that I hope you can see that I like that has language and describes these things, and I'm just gonna steal that fucking language and use it for myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I have my office is called the librarium, and I have like Adeptus pistol. What other 40K shit do I steal? Mike's like, I don't know, but at some point, Mike's going to read some Games Workshop stuff and go, oh, I've seen these words before.
Yeah,
it's so easy to get into 40K nowadays. There's just limitless stuff. You got the game.
I mean, it's a whole genre. Like, I mean, growing up, I thought it was just the figurines. Like, I thought it was a figurine game.
It is.
Right?
I got a couple right here that
I was painting some earlier today. I probably still got some white paint on my thumb.
No,
yeah,
I get, but I mean, obviously everything that has a following has some sort of lore around it. Like Dungeons and Dragons. I was way into that. But like never the lore stuff. But like there are people who like have memorized every inch of lore that ever existed around Dungeons and Dragons. Even the fan fiction Star Wars stuff. Like it's just like the expanded universes and like people get into that stuff. I just never got in there. If you ask me though about the universe of Stargate SG-1, I can probably hold my own. I'm not saying, I have some nerd shit. Like,
so do they have they have novels in that? Like
probably. I mean, I just meant the television show. Like I've watched it like 14 times through. Like
that's not where you get all the good details. That's from the it.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Right now there's like two places you can get 40K lore from. You can either get it yourself from the books, or you can watch a YouTuber talk about it and get it completely wrong. Because I started with maybe you should do the book of the week, Gary, before we run off.
I could. I'll do the book of the week right now. Let me get my notes here so I can put the link up as well.
I love it. Tom's doing the job that I'm supposed to do. Like, hey,
you're in prison with me.
All right. So, book of the week. Let me paste the link up here. I don't have the book in front of me, kinda ish. But what I do have is the entire first 3 books of the Horus Heresy in one big chunk of paper. But the first book is Horus Rising. And that's where I think people should start because that's technically like 30K.
Yep.
Wait, what?
So 40K is in reference to the year 40,000. Well, the 40,000. It's in the
40,000
41st.
AD.
Yeah. So 30K is a prequel, and they don't call it 30K like people just do. But the heresy era was 10,000 years earlier, which is my preferred setting between the two.
How did the whole thing start? Like, was there a
We can't start
seminal?
the whole thing.
Well, it's human history. That's
Yeah.
all. Like,
Okay, so it's so is the 40K universe like Earth, but like
Yep.
in 38,000 years?
Mhm.
Okay, and then was there like a book or a story that was the impetus, like the original? Is there an original trilogy, like a New Hope of 40K?
and novel wise, I don't know what they first published, but there was there's a fuckload of 40K books that don't remotely tie into each other.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are different races of other, Xenos races that you won't even see humans in it. But in the very first rule book, they were trying to add some lore in between all the like roll dice to do this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And in like one little paragraph, it said something about blah 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 ever since the Horus Heresy, and that little sentence turned into like an exponential growth of lore that has spawned a 67 book series.
Mm.
And those 67 books.
That's just the heresy.
That's just
the heresy.
That one event.
So stemming from the rule book, this little bit of lore is where you're saying this 30K Horus Heresy series.
Yep.
You got to get one of these. It's called a codex in order to play with the little models because it's got all your rules in it. And in the beginning, in these little like pages, there's story behind all the individual little dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to look at it is it's wargaming, like what you see that company that Gary was talking about. Was it Tactical Forge?
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Basically, it's that, but instead of Infantryman 1 with M16 and Infantryman 2 with AK-47, it's Space Marine and Orc.
Gotcha.
It's much more interesting.
Yes.
Well,
I actually have some of the little dudes with the M16s too. I was painting some of them. I have in fact, the class we did last weekend, I have a whiteboard with set up for doing fish fighting in someone's house. So the whiteboard has walls printed on it, like a layout of a floor, and I got little fucking magnets for like, hey, if you're moving here, you can see this, blah 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 blah. So then the Tactical Forge guys got me to look on Etsy and find some miniatures of. So I got like a bunch of dudes in baseball caps with M16s, and then a couple of guys with shmogs around their head and AKs, so that we can do room clearing on that whiteboard in 3 dimensions. I just haven't painted those from.
That's awesome.
So that's where all the lore starts. Is just in the rule books that you needed to play the game, and everything has a value, and then you roll dice to figure out, hey, did you make it work? It's not guaranteed stuff. It's like I've played this game with my wife and child plenty of times. I've lost almost every fucking game I've played. I'm just terrible at it. But you roll the dice, and then the dice just give you nothing but ones, and you're just like, oh, this is just going to be terrible for me for the rest of the game.
The game side is fun. The lore side is very entertaining. And it's not pleasant. Like, so of all the fantasy or science fiction settings that like people have ever written about, most of the time, the fandom could talk for hours about how they would love to live in that setting. There's not a 40K fan in the world that's like, oh, I don't even want to visit. Like, I wouldn't
No.
want to be there for a moment.
No, it's very much not a happy ending.
Nope.
It's very much a, well, everything sucks. These people look like me, so it sucks slightly less. But even then, it still fucking sucks. Like, unless you happen to be part of one specific Space Marine chapter's group, everything sucks. Because there's only one nice group out of the entire litany of critters and people. So,
and that's the Sisters of Battle because they're hot.
Yes.
Wait,
if you go to those Facebook groups, holy shit. Oh my God. I see what's on your mind, sir. Have you touched grass recently? Go outside, please.
I only touched myself. Wait.
Yeah, that the fandom can be rough. They kind of suck.
They do.
But I think that's the case with anything, you know. Like, if you're a Star Trek fan and you have that one guy who's like, I could speak perfect Klingon. Like, I don't know. How does that prove useful in anything?
Well, it certainly doesn't help that dude ever see a vagina.
This is true. No,
that's what I try to remember about most fandoms. The people who are most vocal haven't seen a woman in real life naked.
This is probably true.
Even the ones that are women, they probably haven't.
No.
Oh, the women in the 40K universe are probably the worst peddlers of smut in the fandom.
Oh yeah, I'm sure somewhere Andrew right now is on a tirade about pornography and probably eating pork.
It can be a rough fandom to get into, but I don't know. The games are fun. Stories are pretty good usually. If you find some, you know, there's a little bit in there for everybody. You know, if you like biogenetically enhanced superhumans that go fast, or
Halo.
Yeah, it's like Halo, but everybody is Master Chief.
Oh.
And basically the way to think about it is it's war that never ends. Right?
Well, does war ever truly end?
Well, yeah, you take a break. This never stops.
Yeah, that whole 30K to 40K thing didn't have a pause in the middle.
Yeah. There's 3,500.
Like, all right, we killed all the green skins. Now there's blue skins. How long? So that's the best way. It's like in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And that's just it for the rest.
Which does give you a lot of material to work with when you need to come up with names for like classes.
Absolutely, it does.
Or rifles, apparently.
I do have a rifle named Horus.
Yeah.
Wait, your other ones aren't 40K references?
No.
Well, I know Celine is not.
Nope.
That's an Underworld reference.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think some of them are like I almost said like real life demons and devils, but that would insinuate that I believe those things exist in real life, but from real human mythology, not from a modern fiction setting.
Sure. Yeah.
From an ancient fiction setting.
I mean, you know, you could if you called a rifle Belial, you could mean the the master of the Deathwing or the demon.
Yep.
You could call it Baal, and it would be the planet of the Blood Angels, or the demon.
Yep.
Well, Baal is also a Stargate SG-1 reference. Just saying, there may be some overlap. No, okay.
There probably is. Like the writers of Games Workshop, they run out of material fast.
Yeah, that's an Egyptian reference, I think.
Yeah.
Baal.
Yeah, they run out of material really, really fast.
I'm sure, and I have not read, barely scratched the surface of reading about 40K, but I'm willing to wager every cool name that's been in human history or mythology has been recycled into 40K because you can only come up with so many names.
Sure.
Oh yeah. I do like when they get an original name and it's just a completely fucking bonkers spelling. Like there's no way these letters combined make that sound.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is the first time I saw YouTube videos, there was like people were pronouncing things that I was like, well, that's not how I pronounced it in my head when I read it. And then 10 minutes later, I'd be like, wait, what are they talking about? I'm like, oh, that's that dude's name. That's not how I pronounced that either in my head. That happened a lot. And then I can't say like, oh, I had it wrong all this time. I was like, well, one of us is wrong, or fuck, maybe both of us are wrong.
I always like it because they'll reference old world stuff like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And then they pronounce it wrong because you got to remember, first of all, it's 30,000 years after he's dead.
Yep.
He's been dead. So, of course, there's going to be like mistranslations into things and lost knowledge. And that's something that they refer a lot throughout those stories is just like, ah, yes, this man named Shakespeare. I don't know who he is or what he did, but he wrote something and it was important, but I don't remember what.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of that.
Yeah, and I mean the Horus Heresy really it's the Lion King. It's Hamlet. If you get to the end of it, there's lots of various stories, and then of course the main characters aren't overly original. There's the Emperor, who is a superpowered human psyker, and then he has 20 sons, except for 2 of them. I don't know what happened to them. Don't ask me.
Or anyone.
No, nobody knows. It's just empty space. I'm sure that they're just holding on to that in case like they write themselves into a corner and just like, and then him. There you go. But there's and then those 20 sons are called Primarchs. And one of them, for example, is Jagadai Khan. Khan.
How did I know you were going to bring him up?
Well, because I'm Asian and he's the only Asian Primarch.
Yep.
And his shtick is violence.
He doesn't use a sling. That's it.
Probably because he goes really fast. And he's all about fast, like fighter jet on a motorbike going as fast as a fighter jet fast. And that's his whole shtick. There's nothing else.
It sounds like Gary.
And Mongolian. So there you go. He's Asian as fuck. And
Mongolians are my favorite Asians. I mean, everyone's got to have a favorite Asian, right?
Well, yeah. Token Asians. You got to have one.
So Mongolians are my favorite. I don't know why, but I just like saying the word Mongolian. I think that's really it.
You filthy fucking Mongolian. You try to take down a Chinaman wall. I can do that accent, and it's not racist. See? Yeah. Use that cultural appropriation.
Mongolian is one of my favorite Asian type restaurants.
I was going to say, it's my favorite barbecue as well.
Is that where like the food sits in the fucking, like on a salad bar, like raw meat waiting for you to pick it up and get it cooked?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't have this fucking worm phobia like Andrew does. But a fucking salad bar of fucking pork ribs, like
uncooked pork.
Yeah.
And they cook it on that big old round grill with a giant set of chopsticks that look like if you gave Animal from the Muppets a set of drumsticks, that's how big these chopsticks are that they're cooking with around this grill. Yeah,
it's better than the ones I think it's the Korean barbecue ones where you get to dip your food into the soup that's boiling right in front of you.
Mm,
because I know for a fact they're not changing out that fucking soup.
from
That's
person to
just
person.
the same soup that they started the day with.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I struggle with. I mean, if you're gonna feed me like shit that I probably it was gonna turn my stomach, you gotta hide it. I gotta not know.
Mask this shit, please.
Like, if you're gonna feed me dog, don't tell me.
Yeah, that's how my wife does it. She's like, I added ingredients in there that you don't like, but you ate the whole thing. I was like, yeah, just don't tell me.
Yeah.
As long as I don't know, out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
It'll be fine.
She's like, there were 3 onions in that.
Yeah.
Sonny. Is that where my underground name came from? Reclusiarch?
Hmm.
That's what I call you.
Reclusiarch. I mean, that sounds like it could be some word in 40K.
It would be the High Chaplain of the Black Templars.
Oh, fucking Black Templars. I hate them.
Sonny is a Black Templar.
All religious and stuff.
They're the only ones. I think. Well, I guess they're all slowly changing because the Emperor himself is in fact changing.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would be like, in 40K, I'd have to be one of the fallen from the Dark Angels who still believe in the
Imperial
truth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole difference between 30K and 40K is it's the 30K is far more invested in the science of existence, right? So evolution, the explanation of the Big Bang and such like that. And 40K, due to all of the events of the Horus Heresy, they regress to a super religious and super dogmatic approach to things. But there's a really good reason. And that's because basically they weren't dealing with demon shit until after the heresy started. And now we got demons everywhere. So they wound up now we got to be super religious and xenophobic and superstitious because, well, it turns out all of it's real. It's always been real.
Well, if we could get some demons to come down here, I could probably be much easier for me to find some faith.
That's probably why everyone has faith in 40K. There are no demons in 30K. There's like one, and the Emperor just evaporates him, and you never see him again. And then Horus does his heresy after he gets stabbed by a poop knife, and now he's not happy and angry at Dad for some reason, and nobody quite understands why. That was the dumbest shit, by the way.
That's not what I took from that at all. That I didn't take from that at all. I took from that Horus rightfully felt betrayed by the Emperor because the Emperor had turned his back on the Brotherhood of Space Marines. And that's when Chaos said, we found a chink in the armor and we're going to go after that dude because the Emperor wronged him and he's pissed.
But the Emperor didn't wrong him. He went to go work on a project so we could just teleport willy-nilly without having to go through Satan's backyard.
He still turned his back on the Brotherhood. He didn't even tell him, like, hey, I got some shit to do. He just...
I think the Lion should have been made War Master.
Probably so. I mean, once they go into more backstory with all of the Primarchs, that you go, why was Horus even qualified?
He wasn't. And there's a theory that the Emperor knew that whoever he made War Master was going to betray him. So of course it was Horus because he's literally the biggest dork of all of them. So there's nothing he does outside of being possessed by demons where he's like, yes, I could easily take you all on. Like, no.
He's very just, he's like filler material.
Yeah, he's kind of an idiot.
Like the third song on the second side of an album. You're like, it's there.
Yeah, that's basically, it's like, I ran out of ideas. We'll make it you. And that's what he is, because he's not a schemer. He's not a warrior. He's just really, really charismatic to a superhuman level. because that's the way to think about all these Primarchs. It's just violence plus and then a character trait.
Yep.
Like the Lion is violence plus medieval knights, and Fulgrim is violence plus fabulous. Jagged Icon is violence plus go fast. That's the best way to break down every Primarch. Angron is violence plus exceptionally fucking angry for some reason.
Yeah, they went pretty out there on his name.
Yeah. It's Angry Ron. Angron, I got it. We got this. Ronald, why are you so angry?
Make me a character.
His models are pretty cool though.
Most of them are pretty cool.
I do not like the new 30K model that they came out with. They just announced it. It's going to be like $180 or some crazy shit like that, and it's just it's think of like every depiction you've ever seen of Satan and Lucifer, the red angry demon thing, and then give him a shit ton of fucking spikes and then try to pick that asshole up and paint his ass
and not break him. Sonny says, "Yep, yeah, he pretty much got that. Yep,
that's them. They come from the Black Templars come, which is funny because they come from Rogel Dorn, who is all about the Imperial truth, and then kicked his son out. It's like, no, you can't believe this religion shit. Until it was at the heresy, and they're at Terra, and he's like, all right, I take it all back.
And then they went.
I just need you
the whole other way.
I don't care anymore. Everything's gone to shit. These assholes are at the door. They're breaking it down.
Yeah, it looks like we need to get Sonny like a Black Templar purity seal.
There you go.
I might even have some.
There's the flag with their slogan.
I know I walked off camera, but there's still two of you.
Poor Mike is over here just like melting. Help.
I'm not going to lie. I've never had this thought in my life. I'm looking over here going, hey, I want to go play with that ham radio so I can feel cool. Like,
you know,
I feel like
to be fair, everyone was warned that it would be 40K shit if I got to 50 subscribers.
That's true.
What about 50K? Is there a Warhammer 50K yet?
Not yet.
There will be soon. Probably.
You think so?
It depends. Like, so there's actually 3 different Warhammers. There's Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40K, and Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So Fantasy, they ended. There was a story. There was a whole line. It's literally just fantasy. Best way to describe it, if Tolkien didn't nerf the fuck out of dwarfs and then made a story, that's Warhammer Fantasy. All right? They ended that. But they ended it in such a ham-fisted way that most people are kind of pissed and hate how they ended it because it was stupid and the apocalypse wins and all the bad guys win, but they win in such a dumb as fuck way. It's like someone sneezed and then it caused a ripple and everything, and everybody dies because that guy sneezed over there. And so people are pissed about that. And so they're like, hey, I got a great idea. Age of Sigmar, which is a direct continuation of it. I've not met anybody who likes it, like, at all.
I don't know anyone that even reads it, plays it.
I only learned about it because I did the entire Gotrek and Felix series, which is a dwarf and a human, and it's a story from their perspective throughout this whole thing. And I got to the end, which is the end times, and I was like, I wish to know more. What the fuck? Because I saw that Age of Sigmar had Gotrek. I was like, let me see. No Felix. And Felix is what Mike is right now.
Confused and uninterested.
Well, he's the I don't understand. He's your stand-in for you as the reader. He explained it's like I don't know what the fuck a dwarf is, and I don't know why the fuck they act like this. And that's what Felix is the whole way through. And he's basically the MacGuffin that allows them to explain why stuff happens to you as the reader. Right. Felix is the reader. But then they did Age of Sigmar, and then there's no Felix. And so he's like 90% of why that was interesting is the relationship between those two characters.
Wow, Sonny's never heard any of this. It's almost like behind the Iron Curtain, they didn't have 40K.
But they do.
Up. No, they had to burn it for warmth.
They do have 40K. It's really popular in Russia.
But was it during the Soviet Union?
Well,
you got to remember.
Have you talked to Sonny? Nothing is popular in the Soviet Union except Adidas
and leaving
and suffering.
And
that's
grain.
it. Leaving, suffering, and Adidas. Those are the only things that make anybody happy in Russia during the Soviet
it sounds
Union.
Like 40K is right up their alley.
That's probably why they like it so much.
No, they read it and go, why are they talking about us?
They think the future, this is now.
Yeah. No, they're the ones that read it and go, that sounds great. We should go there.
We should do this. Make this a reality. I wish to see, because I posted a picture of the news reporter in with the Russians. He's got the purity seal on his coat.
Yeah, I saw there's a bunch of dudes out over there running those, and they're a little more. They're like real parchment, where like the one that I got right here is like a patch with a patch sewed together, and then some Velcro on the back. I'm gonna get some Tremis Dynamics fucking purity seals. Well, mine won't be purity seals; they'll be oaths of moment. But
they did a language change. It was an oath of moment. It was I promise to kill 20 guys when I get down there, and then it became the Emperor loves me, and I will not be absorbed by demons.
Yeah, it was way cooler when it was an oath of moment.
I mean, it's still called an oath of moment in the rule book.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know when I don't know. I've not seen them called purity seals anywhere in the books that I've read so far. I've only heard people call them that.
You know,
I have no fucking clue.
Same. Like I can't say that I can recall seeing it in print.
Yes, this is why the Ukrainians call Russians orcs.
Yes.
It's also because of Tolkien. So Mordor, for those who don't know, is a stand-in for Russia.
Which is weird because like I had during the entire like 29,000 years of GWAT, I referred to all those Muslim countries, all their residents as orcs, because I was like, oh yeah, like 35 IQ, eats their own boogers, no sense of honor.
Yeah, I don't understand why Tolkien did that. Because he has Easterlings and the Southmen as stand-ins for the Arab tribes, because he's a World War I veteran. Poor Sonny. It's pop culture, man. There's that.
Well, it might not be pop culture. It might be dork culture, geek culture for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that one merc who was in the Grand Thumb video. He had the Black Templars thing on his patch on him when he did. You guys remember that?
Well, I remember there were two guys there. Mike.
Yeah, one of them got a Black Templars patch on his plate carrier.
I didn't even notice. I don't really watch the Grand Thumb guy, but
I would like to point out that one of those motherfuckers does that entire trench run without a sling on, and no one said a thing.
Well, it's because he didn't make a YouTube short about it. Apparently.
Yeah. You know when people don't shit on you is when you don't have a sling on and you don't talk about it. Like it's almost like, you know, it's like, as soon as you say you have an opinion on something, that's when people are like, whoa. You can't. Who are you to say like? But if you just did it, like if you just didn't put a sling on ever, people be like, "No, that's the guy who just doesn't wear a sling." But as soon as you disagree with somebody who laid down the doctrine of, no, you have to wear a sling in a certain certain size and certain orientations so that you can use it for stability when you're clearing houses. Like that's when they're like, no, that's my belief system.
I am positive that there are way more photos of me with a rifle, with a long gun, I'll say, because I know there's some shotgun ones too, without a sling, sometimes just hanging freely in the air, than there are with a sling. Nobody's ever mentioned it to me.
It's just because I made an opinion and I'm a nobody.
Yep.
That's all it was.
Well, I mean, let's face it. It's because you weren't in the military.
Of course.
I
wasn't aware that was a prerequisite.
It is a prerequisite for sure to teach anybody anything about firearms.
It always kind of confused me because it's like, we're going to teach you how to do self-defense, but we're not going to cover de-escalation. I'm like, so you're just going to run off the idea that you've killed people?
Everything's a shoot problem.
Yeah, everything's a gun problem. I've done the numbers. It's all a gun. I just made a video on how to do your dry fire practice and how you should probably stop touching the fucking trigger every single time you draw a gun, because you're subconsciously training yourself to touch the trigger just because you pulled it out of the holster.
That's why
you shouldn't do that.
It's like the epitome of like stupid shit to me is like 1R1s. Like, oh, I'm gonna take one shot, reload the gun, take one shot. Why? Like, when does that ever happen? Like, it's like it's simulating like a fast reload. No, because if it was simulating a fast reload, you would have some sort of stimulus to tell you that the gun was empty.
Yeah, like 17 loud noises.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe running your entire training regimens off of singular stimuli is almost as if it's a bad idea and causes people to do really bad things. I mean, I made a video on when singular stimuli turned out to kill somebody. So then I got called a BLM grifter and a pseudo doctor as a result of it. What? It took me all of 3 hours to trigger somebody into hating on me. So I'm really good at generating hate. I'm starting to become proud of that.
That's just because they're racist.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. I'm Asian, so therefore BLM grifter.
See, if you were wearing like a Guy Fawkes mask or something, so that they just could see light-colored skin, they'd be like, "Oh, he's fine." But can't have one of them Asians.
What does it say? Oh.
Or Orientals, as I once called a group of Asians I had in class.
I don't know when that became derogatory, to be perfectly frank with you.
So
I didn't get the memo in the Asians meeting. Hey, here's our list of derogatory terms.
So there was like 8 people in class, and it was a private class, and we're shooting a breeze at like lunchtime or whatever. And I had mentioned that I was telling my wife it was a private class and I told her it was the Oriental group that I taught last year. And the one dude goes, "What'd you say?" And I told her it was the Oriental group from last year. He goes, "The fuck do I look like, a rug?" And I went, "You look like someone whose heritage comes from the Orient." And he was like, "Yeah, we don't use that." And I was like, "Oh, well, okay. You don't use that." And then in my mind, I was like, shit, I didn't want to piss him off. Like,
but I'm glad I did.
So, someone needs to notify Top Ramen and Maruchan because they have Oriental flavor. And that flavor is sesame seed oil and salt.
And a bunch of MSG.
So there's more to this story. I don't say the word Oriental for the rest of the afternoon. And a year later, like, these guys were getting a private class like once a year. The rest of the other one, like 6 of them show up. But the dude who said it was all fucking butthurt about the Oriental thing, he wasn't one of them. So I asked the other ones, I was like, "Oh, did he not come with you guys because he's pissed off because I said Oriental?" And they were like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, the last time you guys were here, I said I called you guys Oriental." And they're like, "Because we're Oriental?" And I was like, No. He got all fucking butthurt. And they were like, "Oh, bro, he was totally fucking with you," and I was like, "Oh, oh my god, he's awesome!" Like he had just skyrocketed in my value of human beings because for like a fucking year, like it bugged me that I pissed a dude off without it being intentional. Like I'll do it all the time on purpose. And I was like, I can't believe I did that by accident. And I just didn't know. I feel terrible. And then I was like, he made me like dwell on that for a long time, and like good for him. And here we are. So that was probably 2018. It's 2025 and I'm still telling the story. So that motherfucker did well. He did very good for himself to fuck with me. And like, I have mad respect for that.
I was going to say, I did see someone get upset because they used the word Oriental. I was like, I'm not entirely sure when that became a derogatory term. I know that there's
on like Twitter and what's that Facebook version of Twitter? Sex.
Oh, Blue Sky?
XXX or whatever that social media platform is.
I only know Twitter. I'm not calling it X. It's Twitter.
I still call it Twitter. But I saw on there people are like, Oriental's a derogatory term. And I'm like, I'm going to use it even fucking more now.
I wish someone had told me because I've never heard that. I know the derogatory terms for Asians. I know a lot of them. I've been called them like most of my life, but I didn't know Oriental was. It's like but that's where I'm from. You know, like if you trace my lineage back, that's where it goes. The Orient. You know, apparently, Chinese people and tigers and shit.
You're racist if you say that, though.
Well, I'm Asian, so I can't be racist about.
There's a white liberal woman somewhere who's going to let you know how wrong you are.
You know, they changed the rules on what counts as Asian. There's good Asians, and then there's the lesser Asians. So now apparently, if you're Japanese, Chinese, Korean, you're not allowed to complain. I do too well, apparently.
Oh, so I got to be like Vietnamese that complain.
Yeah, apparently, like the Vietnamese and Indonesians are doing so poorly that, like, they're
be like Tibetan, like you know.
I saw a college application that had South Asian on it, Southeast Asian. I was like, what the fuck? What do you give a fuck which Asian we are?
Yeah, how can you even tell? You could lie.
How do you know?
No.
Well, I mean,
just because Filipinos are Asian Mexicans doesn't mean nothing.
Everybody
like both worlds.
Like 90% of the world is Asian, though. Like you know, everybody. That's everybody from the
not
Western
Indians.
part. What's that?
Not Indians.
Yeah, they are.
They don't even consider themselves Asians.
They're Pan-Asian, right?
Unfortunately, they're in Asia.
I know.
It's the whole continent is like.
You think I make these fucking rules, dude?
Apparently, you make the rules on slings, and I have to follow them. You know, because you put your opinion out there.
Yeah,
but
wait till I start telling all my Indian friends that they're not Asian because you said so.
Yeah, Tom said that you're not Asian. Sorry,
I didn't say they weren't Asians. I said the government thinks those aren't Asians. That's why Indian is an option on some of these applications. Every time they add an option, it's because they're discounting it from the other options. And that's because Indians aren't as screwed over on the college applications as Japanese, Chinese, or Koreans are.
You know, I always wondered why on all those like forms and stuff, like Asian, like, you know, ethnicity, like Hispanic, like you ever notice that Hispanic is never in with ethnicity, or it's like it's with like color. Like, what are you?
Non-white Hispanic is like
or Hispanic?
White Hispanic?
Yeah.
Like, what would the difference be? Why do you care which Hispanic it is? Well, it's because you look white. What the fuck?
But it's in like a different category than like African American.
Like, you have to check white first, and then are you Hispanic?
Yeah.
Like, wait, well, what if I had checked fucking African first? Do I still get the Hispanic option?
Right. Like, what if I'm Spanish from Spain?
What if
is that also Hispanic? You know,
and I don't identify as black. Like those islanders do not recognize themselves as black people half the time. So what are they supposed to write down?
That's a good question.
My question is,
they probably can't write.
You know, at what point do you become native to the place that you live in? Because, like, it's pretty established science that like Native Americans are not native to North America. Like they may have been the first ones to, well, not even
They're
the first
just
ones.
Mongolians that got bored.
Yeah, like they're like, you know what might be good? Something on the other side of that big chunk of fucking ice floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Nobody's
so, like,
hunted that yet.
yeah, let's go on the other side of that. So
Yeah.
they get over there and they're like, well, this looks good. Oh shit, the ice melted. Guess we're staying. So
Yeah, and then it happened again.
yeah,
And then more came. Like if you go all the way down to Argentina, that's a separate group of Asians than the ones in Brazil, then the ones in Mexico, then the ones in North America.
mhm.
That's just 5 different groups of Asians every time the Bering Strait froze over.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like, but like, they're none of them are native, right?
No.
Like, they just walked. Do they earn it more because like they walked it instead of like taking ships? I'd say it's probably harder to build a fucking boat.
I saw somebody arguing on the Twitter some time back, probably a couple years ago at this point, and they were, in my mind it was a white lady, but it might have been anyone. But she said, so I'm going to say she. She said, "Well, white people aren't native to anywhere originally. They're not indigenous to any part of the earth." I'm like, where the fuck do you think we came from? Space?
Yeah, it's like I think it was developed like the lack of melatonin or melanin in the skin, whatever that M word is.
I
like,
gotta say, my favorite thing that has happened. So, are you guys familiar with the Assassin's Creed video game series?
I played
yeah.
some of those.
Okay. So, since the first Assassin's Creed, people have been saying, I would really like to play as one of the most famous assassins in all of history, a ninja, right? And so we begged and we pleaded, and we got pirate assassins, we got Greek assassins, we got Viking assassins. We finally get Japanese assassins, and they choose a black man.
That's the world we live in now.
And you didn't even like. The worst part is if you look at the entire book of Japanese history, this guy is like one sentence long, and not even with a period. It's just like with a comma. And Nobunaga did this, and then that's it. There's nothing else about him. We don't know what happened to him, where he went, how he died. It's just there was a black guy, and he wore armor. The end.
Sounds like a perfect guy to write a video game series about. Like we can't get anything wrong.
I guess so. You know what? Now that I say it out loud,
We're good.
Yeah.
I always call Calvin a ninja, and one day he's like, "Mr. Gary, my ancestors come from China. We don't even have ninjas." I was like, "No, you guys got the good ninjas because we don't even know they exist. Japan has the shitty ninjas that we all know about."
Right.
My ancestors were bad at this. That's why you know they exist.
I think I for a minute there I thought Sonny was going to go put on some blackface. He said he was going to make himself a black Russian.
Yeah. Well, to answer Sonny's question, the Russians call themselves orcs. Like the Ukrainians started calling them that, but then the Russians were like, "Yes, we are."
Well, yeah, you got to own it.
Yeah, that they totally did.
It's like having a call sign. That's
it's funny because like I have a Gorka suit that I bought years ago, and the brand is Mordor Tactical,
and it's a
and
Gorka
it's called that
suit?
before the Russian invasion. So like, and it's from Russia. So like Russians have been apparently calling themselves orcs for a really long time.
Can we just say how awesome of a fucking name Mordor Tactical is? Like, I've never even heard of them before, but
right?
That's a perfect company name.
Oh, I don't have any of it up
here.
Yeah,
I want to steal it for something. I don't even like Tolkien though, so
I mean, I like the movies, I like the books. It's just like the race that I always thought was the coolest were the dwarves, because like every depiction of them is cool. But Tolkien was like, Fuck those.
I did not like them when I was
That's why I liked Warhammer Fantasy, because that was like, hey, you see those guys that like we make metal songs and all this other crazy shit about? What if they weren't fucking lame and they were just really fucking cool?
I didn't like them when I was a kid. I didn't like dwarves. Like playing Dungeons and Dragons, I was like, dwarves are stupid. Elves are where it's at.
I don't know. I did like Dane Ironfoot from The Hobbit was like one of my favorite characters, and then it's like that's all you get. It's like, that's it. What else does he do? He's a dwarf king. He's gone now.
He just liked writing
Too
about
bad.
fucking halflings.
Yeah,
Dude,
And
the
elves.
dude must have really liked smoking pot and eating, like, because that's, I mean, if really like the brightest light is shown on halflings and hobbits, and they eat, drink, and be merry. Like,
Yeah.
sounds pretty great.
Well, not
What's
in
that?
the TV show. Not in the Amazon
Oh
TV
yeah, I don't
show.
watch it.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, it's
what I've heard.
terrible. It's terrible. I watched season 1 because I was like, well, maybe. And then I was just sad. Apparently they got a season 3 coming. I haven't even seen season 2.
This is how I watch. Like when I'm not sure about something, I'm like, ooh, that might suck. I'll wait until the Critical Drinker does a video review of it. And if he says it's good, then I'm like 50-50.
The one show I haven't been disappointed with is the Fallout show.
I actually thought that was okay. I've not played the video game, so I don't know how well
It was a really good adaptation. Walter Goggins did a really good
great.
job. Well, he did an interview, and they're like, "Did you play the game?" And he's like, "Fuck no." It's like, I want to be the one guy who sits there and says that doesn't make sense, so I'm not gonna do it. So he's like the advocate for everyone who didn't play the games. Like, you're gonna have to explain that way the fuck better if you want me to say that.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed the show, and I did not play the game, so. And that's really the key, isn't it? Like,
it's a pretty faithful adaptation.
You can make a show that people will enjoy, or you can make a show that's essentially a documentary of a book that people read, or in this case, a video game that they've played. But rarely does somebody like cover both of them bases.
Yeah. Yeah, very rarely. That's the problem with most of these things, like the Last of Us TV show. I played both games. You know, I thought the first one was really good. The second one was stupid as fuck.
The second season,
but you know,
oh
yeah. Well, the second season and the second game, because there's the last. Yeah, it was part 1, part 2. I thought the game was fucking dumb as shit. Just because I understand what they were trying to make happen. It's like it's a revenge story, but like there's way better ways you could have done that.
I thought the show was okay.
And
that was it, just okay.
I thought.
Well, season 1 should be okay because it was the entire first game, which was the good game.
I mean, everyone loves an origin story. Like, you know, everyone wants to see how the world goes to shit. Like, people love watching it. It's like why everyone loved Walking Dead when it first came out. Like, but after a while, it's just like, all right, well, this is the world. Like, we know, like, everything sucks. We don't need to.
Yeah, when I was new to guns, that show was terrifying. And then I like got into guns and started taking training. I was like, how the fuck did they get this far? How did it get this far? What the fuck is wrong with all of you? Every last one of you. You deserve this shit.
Yep. I couldn't stand that show.
That show.
I watched all the way until they were in.
Well, now they got
prison.
like what, 5 spin-offs.
So whatever season they were in the prison in.
I think it's like the third.
And I was like, I can't watch any fucking more of this. Like, I'm just done.
I watched it all the way up until.
Where is it?
Oh, the Negan character came in.
Is that the baseball bat guy?
Yeah.
I never saw him because I didn't watch the show, but I saw a lot of reference to
that dude. I tried getting, like, I stuck with it for a while. Like most of the main characters were still in it at that point, and then like when that happened, and then like there was weird shit. Like okay, he's obviously a bad guy, but he's so charismatic, and then they start like hanging with him, and there's like, wait a second, is he becoming like a main character? Like fuck this, I'm out. I'm like,
Apparently, he's
really?
got his
Oh.
own show now. So
Like
I get the advertisements every once in a while, and it pops through, or I'll like go through a reel or two, and it'll be like, oh, by the way, did you see this? And you said you like this thing, so you must like this thing. And it's like, okay, what is it? Oh, The Walking Dead still? What the fuck? Now it's Fear the Walking Dead, so they have their own series where they're away from the comics.
right, it was
it's
a graphic
comic
novel,
first.
which is really good, by the way. Like,
yeah, the graphic novel is really good. And like the first 4 seasons of the Walking Dead show
well,
were
the first
fucking good.
There was a point in which they very closely followed the graphic novels. Like I would I would watch a season and then catch up with the novels, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good, because I didn't want to like ruin and then eventually I started skipping ahead and then like started reading the novels first, and then knew everything that was going to happen, and then they'd switch some things. They're like, ooh, they did that for the people who watched or read the book, because they'd switch up who dies or like some shit that happens. Like they did a good job, and then at a certain point it just kind of like I don't even know if the graphic novels kept up with it. Like they may have reached the end and they're just like, now we need to figure shit out on it. Like they did with Game of Thrones.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they did that with Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones outpaced the books, and then I don't know how George R.R. Martin still has any legitimacy, because he's like, I swear I'll finish the book before the show ends. Like
Like,
you
bro,
haven't
the
done
fucking show ended
anything.
like 8 years ago, and
I swear I'm gonna finish it.
He still hasn't
Like,
hasn't put out that
it's
book
done.
6 or whatever.
Yeah, like when it was a faithful adaptation, it was good, and then like somewhere around season 6, technically at the end of season 5, it's just like, okay, I guess we're gonna keep doing
Yeah,
this shit.
it was right when Jon Snow dies, I think. Right, like that's when
Yeah.
there was they
Yeah,
crossed,
then
and then
just-
he released like one extra book after that, which
and then they jumped the shark, and then
I mean, they
everyone lost
tried,
interest.
but like I think part of it too is like they were told, "Hey, you guys got to wrap this up. Like, I know you got like 3 years left of story and character plot development."
You know how you wrap up a story? Hire a
Well,
fucking nerd.
yeah,
They're all over the place, and they're cheap as hell because they just dream. That was what Peter Jackson did for the Lord of the Rings. He hired nerds. They like volunteered to do that shit. Like, put on this armor. Okay, how much you want to get paid? Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm in the
I got
armor.
everything I need right here.
Well, let's face it.
Can I take this home? I can.
Every
great.
nerd thing should just hire Henry Cavill. Like that dude seems to bring a fire to every nerd thing. Like,
well, you better get used
I
to
heard.
40K then, because
Yeah.
I
You got some shit to catch up on, man.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
like he did obviously Superman. He's like The Witcher. Apparently, that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, I can't watch that show
Yeah,
without Henry
apparently
Cavill.
that's one of the reasons why they
'Cause I
chose
put-
not to go
who
forward
was
with
it?
him anymore, because they're like, he keeps trying to like make it accurate to the lore, and we need to move beyond that. And it's like,
He keeps trying to give us money and help us make like a fuck ton
Yeah,
of money, and I
we
don't
don't
want to
want
make
people
that
to
much
like this.
money. That's
Let's get
too
this
much
Hemsworth
money.
kid in here.
The IRS
some
kind of
lesbians.
screw us
That'll make it
over on
better.
this. Yeah, let's just make it terrible and gay. With Sunny in the Fallout universe. If you look earlier, Sunny says, my wife forced me to watch one episode of Fallout in hopes I'll join. You should have watched it, Sunny.
It's only like
you should
8
have kept
episodes.
going.
Like,
It's
even
a
if
good
it was
show.
bad, 8 episodes is easy
I
to
don't-
get through, and it might like it. That's what
I wish it was a bad show, but like as far as video game adaptations go, it's actually good. That's how most people play the fucking game. That's literally how people play. Like, I'm going to be part of the Brotherhood. I'm going to be a desperado, fuck you kind of person. I just picked up this controller and I'd like to see what it does. Like those are the 3 archetypes for playing Fallout.
Ooh, sounds like
So-
looks like the gauntlet's been thrown down.
Well, yeah, but Carissa can do those things because her and Megan went to Vegas to do the Fallout New Vegas
Oh.
tour. They did that a while back. They went to Las Vegas and they went to the small town that is actually in Good Springs. Good Springs, Nevada is an actual town that they went and made the game locations after. So when you play the game, it's actually the area. And every year they have a huge get together at that town, and it's just a huge Fallout video game thing at this small town in Good Springs, Nevada. Apparently, the owner of the bar, which is of vital importance to the game, lost ownership, but the fans all wound up buying it and then giving it back, and they just continuously pump money into this thing. So I thought it was a cool story. So of course, Carissa would lay down the gauntlet and something like that. She does those things. No, like, yeah, Henry Cavill's doing the 40K. Have you at least seen the Amazon special, Mike?
Of
Animated. It was like 6 different.
Yeah, it was the secret level, and then there's just one that's 40K.
I have
one's
no
pretty
idea what
good.
you're talking about.
Yeah, Amazon dropped a. It was like a 6 or 8 episode animated series that there were just 8 independent animated like one was Pac-Man, but it wasn't like you wouldn't even fucking known it was Pac-Man. It was so like, yeah,
That was trippy.
and like one
That
of the
was
middle
fucking trippy.
episodes is a 40K episode that was pretty fucking good, and tied in with the Space Marine video game that's fucking blowing up like a motherfucker.
Yep. I play that one with the wife and kid every once in a while. It's actually pretty fun. So I don't know. 40K's got something for everybody.
Mike needs to jump on to Horus Rising. Use my link and I'll get a kickback. Affiliate link.
I'll have to
go.
do the Audible after I'm done with.
The whole Horus Heresy is available on Audible.
Yeah,
The whole
I actually
thing.
recommend if people want to read the Horus Heresy, there's 3 options: paper, Kindle, and Audible. I recommend not going with paper because you can find like the first 5 or 7 books for like $6 from like thrift books because they were printed by the truckload, and then like when you're at like book 33 and you're like, I need that one, and the print run was a couple thousand big 9 years ago, they're going on eBay for like $600, and I was like, oh no, I'm. So if you look at my bookshelf, there's dozens of Horus Heresy books and then a Gap. That Gap is all on Kindle, and then a Horus Heresy book, and then some Gap, and that's more on Kindle.
Yeah, there's a couple of the 40K books for characters that I became a favorite of, like Asmodai.
Yep.
Of the Dark Angels. I can't afford that fucking book. Or just Azrael, who's the chapter master of that same group. It's like, I can't afford this fucking book. What is wrong with you people? I was thrilled when I found a copy of Hell's Reach for $30.
I try to keep an eye out for books. Like I've bought books that I don't intend to read anytime in the near future because I'm like, oh, $9 for some book that I might get to at some point. I'm on it.
I'm trying to convince Sonny to read Hell's Reach, but I have a feeling he won't do Audible or Kindle, so I have to procure a hard copy of Hell's Reach, because that's the book about Grimaldus, the Black Templar, Reclusiart Grimaldus, which is what I call Sonny. So trying to make that
without
happen.
breaking the fucking bank.
Yeah, well, I never know. It's like, oh, it'll be $30. Oh, cool. Oh, but it's not the right book. You lied. And then you find one, it's like $700.
Yep,
What
on
the
Amazon
how?
right now, $496.
Fuck. That's what I mean. I'm not spending that
Nope.
much money on a book.
Fuck that.
Especially since every once in a while they'll pick like 3 titles
Yeah,
to re-release.
I just bought-
so I just
I
wait
just
till they do
bought
that.
9 books last week that are not in my near agenda to read because they re-released some that I was like, oh, I'm certainly going to want to read these sometimes before the next re-release. So I would just buy them and stick them on the shelf.
Yeah.
Even though there are books I need to read before that I also don't own. I was like, I don't care. I'm just filling in all the gaps so that when I get to it, the book is sitting there waiting for me.
YouTube Hell's Reach was such a popular one. It's got a free YouTube video that you can just watch. It's 2 hours long, and it's just one nerd animated this video, and it's just the audiobook, but with like all the extra descriptor stuff removed from it. He's rearranged some stuff so that it makes sense in the in video. It's not terrible. You missed some stuff. I thought it was pretty good. It was close enough adaptation.
And if someone's
going to
make a YouTube video,
I listened
like,
to the book.
it's got to be abridged. Like, you just can't do.
Yeah, because hang on, I have it on Audible, and I'll tell you exactly how long this fucking book is via Audible. I think it's like 12, 13 hours.
Yeah, you got to short that shit
story. Yeah. Yeah, it's 12 hours and 14 minutes long for the Audible version. Well, you know, Mike, we're trying to help.
It's not helping.
But are we getting you to the point where you're like, all right, I'm going to have to dip my toe into this and try it? Like, that's the real key.
Well, no. But I would. Nothing in tonight's conversation has made me go, wow, I really need to get into this. Like, this is.
Well,
but I probably will, just because it's like, you know, I'll put whatever on an audiobook. Like, you want a good.
The hard part is getting into it, because because it's not like Lord of the Rings, right? You get 6 books. Well, I'm sorry, 4 books, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Sorry, 6 movies, right? And that's the thing, is like most of these franchises, you
don't
have
forget
a movie
the
to go to.
too.
Like Harry Potter has.
Don't forget the Enchiridion. Which is
a
whole nother
exactly book. Yeah. Like Harry Potter has all the movies. 40K, it only just hit mainstream popularity. And it's like, okay, I would like to follow a semi-straight line. And currently, all that's out there in terms of professional media is you have to pay for it or watch the one thing on Amazon. And it's still not even a drop in the vast ocean that is 30K and 40K. So it's like, I get it. It's hard to get into because you're like, I don't know where to fucking start. Like, you keep saying these things to me, but none of that makes fucking sense. Okay, I don't know what the fuck a Space Marine is, and I don't know what a White Scar
Space
is.
Marine,
Fuck you.
That one I can kind of figure out as we're talking about it.
Right. But then you find out that there's chapters involved with it and legions involved with it, and you're like, okay. And each one's got a guy in charge called a chapter man. All right. And then each one's got a Primarch. Okay.
Takes a bit to start piecing it all together.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I understand how people feel when they're like, you know, oh God, all these people with their fucking love of Star Wars. I've never watched a Star Wars thing, and then like, it's just at this point, I'm so far behind, and I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like, I've been along for the whole journey.
That's a perfect example. Get into Star Wars.
It's like there's 9 movies, and
not when there's 3 movies,
Yeah.
or 6 or 9. Like, you got the expanded universe, and then you got what they call Legends, because Disney was like, I don't like any of these ideas.
Because the Timothy Zahn books were the best fucking stories in Star Wars.
Right. And it beat the shit out of whatever it was they shat out with these last 3 movies. But like that's what 40K is now. except you don't get movies to just kind of shorten everything. Because I can sit through a movie, no problem. That's easy to do, especially if it's like a collection of movies that are all like it's like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. There, you got the movie order. You
don't
get
forget
start to
R1.
finish. Oh yeah, and Rogue One
And Solo.
which I only liked for the last bit. The Darth Vader scene
I
was the
enjoyed
only
the whole
reason I
movie.
enjoyed that.
I
It's
liked
pretty
it
good
better, way better than Return of the Jedi, the prequels, or the last three. Like, to me, if you talk about the original
Oh, well,
trilogy,
there you
it's
go.
now Rogue One, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. That's the only 3 movies I need. It can end at the end of the Empire Strikes Back, and I'm okay with it.
Losing
Yeah.
a hand, falling through the air ducts, getting caught.
Yep. And Han Solo is frozen somewhere. I'm like, yep. As long as I don't get any fucking Ewoks, I don't care.
I don't know. My son just started doing the prequel trilogy. Going back, it's actually not
I love the prequel
that
trilogy.
bad.
It's my favorite.
I took my kids to see
I
the re-release of Episode 3 on Friday. And
oh yeah.
I was like, oh, this is way better than I remember.
Yeah, it's weird how much better those movies are than anybody remembers. Like, hold up, what happened? What Mandela?
So
what? How did we get Mandela into
here's
thinking
something
these were good?
that I'm thinking may have happened. We had the original trilogy that we grew up with and we loved. And then the prequels came out and we went, it ain't the original trilogy, it sucks. And then fast forward a couple decades and they brought out the other 3 movies and we went, well, that was so bad that this prequel trilogy seems pretty good in comparison. That's where I'm thinking, like, the psychology of it.
Also,
That
you know
Ray
what?
was so bad that Hayden Christensen seems like maybe he could act.
Also, I've grown an appreciation for Hayden Christensen's acting because it's so like you watch them and you're like, God, I hate this guy. He's such a whiny bitch. And then you grow like,
And then
and then you
that's what
realize
he's
like,
supposed to be.
wait a second, is he a whiny bitch or is he that bad at? Oh, that's the it's like watching the I don't know if you guys have ever watched The Sopranos or Breaking Bad. Like, I think one of the best characters or best acting performances ever is Walter White's wife, Skylar White, in Breaking Bad, because I hate her so much. Like, I think she's the most despicable person ever. And every time I see that actress, I'm like, oh, I hate her. Same thing with like the sister, Tony's sister in The Sopranos, or his mother, and like, it's because the acting was so good they made you hate them.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the job. I mean, if you think about like what it's supposed to be in the prequel trilogy, is it's supposed to be Anakin not being able to properly express himself because he's in a religious religiously stringent organization that doesn't really want you to do that, and so he's emotionally retarded, figuratively and literally. And that's what leads to all the shit happen. It's like, I'm angry. You're not allowed to be angry. I'm sad. You're not allowed to be sad.
Be mindful of your feelings.
I'm a 17-year-old fucking kid. What the fuck you want me to do?
Part of their error, though, is so Darth Vader's the villain, and they want to show Anakin, who they like. If you want to see him fall from grace, you have to make us like him first.
Yeah.
And then the fall, he has to turn into something that we don't like. And unfortunately, they did it the other way, where he was an aspiring hero that we hated. And when we turned into a villain, we all cheered him on.
Mm-hmm.
He is the coolest villain.
Well, they tried to fix that with that animated
I don't watch
TV
cartoons,
show.
so I never watched them.
I got Wii ones, so I can put those on. I think that they just ruined the entire thing because like the character they wound up using just leaves the Jedi Order. It's like, I don't want to be part of this group anymore. Okay, bye. And I'm like, you could just do that. That's an option. You could just do that.
That seemed
you
like it'd be way better than.
So why doesn't Anakin just
leave?
leave?
Get all my limbs cut off
Because he's
choose
corrupted. Like, that's like the idea that he was groomed, you know, like a pedo.
But
Like
I
that's
mean,
like
but he
really
could've just,
the emperor was a pedophile, you know.
they didn't do a good job fleshing him out as that.
I
Like,
mean, do you really want to get into nitty
I was
gritty,
like,
you
oh,
weirdo? Jeez.
I would like my characters to be more compelling than I'm angry because reasons.
Yeah,
I don't know. I desire more of a MacGuffin than just a McMuffin. You get what I'm saying here?
no,
Like,
there's a lot of holes.
I don't
for
know.
sure
I think yeah. It's like, well, here's why, and because reasons, and it's like, okay, but I don't know. Sam Russell says it was the shit. They don't leave because it's a cult. Yeah, but like, I don't know if it was my wife and two unborn children on the line, you know, and you literally just watched your apprentice go, I'm done. I don't know. I'd be like, hey, you know, they left.
I'm not
Maybe I could leave.
I
I'm
got
not
this
gonna lie.
smoking hot chick over here. Like, I'll leave the Jedi Order for Natalie Portman. I'm in.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a religious guy. I'm very anti-religious, really, like, you know, non-religious. If there was a religion that said, hey, we're gonna give you superpowers and this fucking laser sword, I'd be in, like, right now. Like, I would I would
Well, that's kind of the thing. It's like you're religious enough to stick with it, but not religious enough to follow the don't fuck women and have
yeah.
children rule.
Yeah.
So like, I can't leave the order because it's everything. So why did you have
Well,
sex with her?
yeah.
You knew that was against the rules, you dork.
He was taken too late. He was not found.
It was
Did
Natalie
they not give you?
Portman.
Yeah,
Well,
it was Natalie Portman.
Like the Pope would do her.
You basically gave me an all expenses paid honeymoon
Yeah,
to
that
a
would-
paradise world. What else was I
Let's just put it
supposed to
like
do?
let's all agree they did not set him up for success. Like they kept putting him in these situations like, hey, young 17-year-old angsty guy who we know has emotional problems and a bit of a flair for not listening to us. Yeah, we're gonna send you with the smoking hot queen who obviously has some, like, you know, emotional detachment issues, that, like, you know, she's lonely. And we're gonna send you to
She's lonely.
we're gonna send you
You're
to her,
lonely. She's
yeah,
dealing
we're
with an
gonna send you to her
assassin.
lake house. And you know, whatever happens, it's fine. And then, like, my favorite part is, oh, hey, princess or queen or senator, whatever you are now, congratulations, you're pregnant. Nobody
Nobody thought that was weird.
Is that from hanging out with that?
Like the little TV
Yeah.
show doesn't help that line of reasoning either, because you literally just watch these two characters constantly. Like, it's a whole galaxy. What are the statistical chances that you keep running into each other over and over, and like the whole galaxy can see that you keep bumping into Natalie Portman? Oh, and look, she's pregnant now. I wonder if that one Jedi guy and the Natalie Portman who keep bumping into each other and are
Right.
constantly seen
And,
together. Like we got paparazzi here who are able to draw straighter.
Yeah, as
thicker
much as I'm
lens.
my favorite character is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Come on, Ben. The fuck, man. Like, you're mindful of the Force. You're like one of the best, you know, practitioners of, you know, being able to be connected with the living Force. You didn't realize, like, hey, your apprentice is stuck in the Queen, like, bro. And you know what? That actually, I think, speaks to maybe his, you know, not a strong side of his, but maybe one of his weaknesses of, like, he was probably like, I mean, as long as shit doesn't happen, if he fucks the Queen, it's fine. Like,
He's probably
he's
he's
like
finally
the
fucking listening to me because he gets some of that pent up energy
just a little bit on the side, and then he stops being a pain in my ass. Like, he's like, I get a little.
He's young, dumb, and not so full of cum now.
Like, maybe let's get this out of his system, and then finally we can go defeat the separatist movement. And no, that you know, he didn't. That was just stupid, Kenobi. Like, you know, you can't wave that in front of a guy. You can't wave Natalie Portman in front of somebody and expect them not to get corrupted. It's gonna
No, you need to find a different
I've never seen her in
actress.
person, and she's corrupted me.
happen.
I mean, it's a better corruption story than Horace's. See, I turned it back around
All
to
right, I'm
40K on you.
It's not a better story because his guy turned his back on the Brotherhood.
He was stabbed with a poop knife and then gaslit, and he went with the gaslighter over
He
his
was
brother.
already anti-emperor before that ever happened.
You find that out in later books. If you go off those first three, it's not anti-emperor. He's just sitting there going, "I wonder why Dad left."
Page
Mike completely
by page
disassociated.
113. You already
I
know.
was so engaged.
Mike died. He's like,
yes, finally something I can talk about. And then they're just back to fucking. I'm like,
What does it matter? We've been on here for like fucking 17 hours already.
We have been.
It was 2 hours of
We
nerd
talked a little
shit.
bit of gun stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
Which is just
there's
nerds
lots
for
of
different nerds.
Everyone talks about fucking gun stuff. Stand and deliver.
Stand and deliver.
There, I talked
With the
about more gun
fastest
shit.
split time possible.
I don't understand. Okay, here, I'll get into gun shit for Mike. I'm helping you, Mike. I don't understand how the fuck Stand and Deliver made a return.
I don't even know what you're referring to.
Because it was proven an outdated, dumb tactic in its heyday. Like, everybody already said, this is a dumb as fuck thing to do. We should not do it. We won the Revolutionary War because we refused to do it. How the fuck
What
did
is
it come
stand and
back?
deliver? Is that
Good shooting stance, fast and accurate hits. All
oh
that matters.
yeah.
Stand there, deliver more accurate rounds.
Yeah, we used to do it in the revolution. Like in the days of smoothbore, I'd get like 40 people in a line. We'd stand there and we'd point it at you, and we'd all fire at the same time. Chances are those 40 balls are going to hit something. Hopefully, you. That's stand and deliver. We weren't using that super effectively back then because we had been fighting the natives in Canada, and we're like, hey, you know what they don't do? Sit and wait to be shot at.
The antithesis of that.
There might be something to this.
So like we go through this whole phase of because I just did the live stream with Andrew, right, about the history, and it's like, okay, here's the history of Stand and Deliver. It was a bad tactic in its heyday, and everybody was looking for any fucking excuse to stop using it.
I mean,
like the Civil War, we don't even they start to phase it out completely.
mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it was a they were learning battle, right? Like with firearms, they did how like they had some level of mixed military arms, right? Like in throughout history. Oh, we've got long range archers, and we've got short range, and we've got swordsmen, and we've got our cavalry, and maybe some like ballistas or like a fucking we could call it we call artillery somehow, like launching with trebuchets and shit. But like they that's how they learn to do warfare. And then all of a sudden someone comes up with a gun. They're not going to be like, all right, guys, everything's changed. We're going to get rid of these fucking bright ass uniforms. We're all hide in the woods. I want you to paint your faces, and we're going to totally disassociate from the idea of having rank and file. Like that's hard.
You could follow it somewhat like with archers. Like, hey, we're going to launch these things in this big parabolic arc. And the only way we're going to hit shit is if we launch like fucking 500 of them at a throw. It's the shotgun method.
As many as we can fire, we'll hit something.
And, fucking smoothbore, whatever locks that they were using at whatever time, they were the same. Like, we can't really hit shit very well with these, but if we get 30 guys beside each other, we're bound to hit some shit. And so you can track how they were like, oh, this seems to work. But The problem is if I stand there and you stand there and we're bound to get some hits, that's a terrible way. Like,
Well,
nobody wants to participate in that.
it's
Well, the thing is when by the time the Revolutionary War happens, Americans have the Kentucky rifle, which is the first thing that actually has rifling to it. So you don't need to stand in these big ass formations anymore to get accurate fire. You just need to aim.
Right.
You know where
Like,
the Kentucky
actually,
rifle came from?
That
Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where it's still called the Pennsylvania rifle, which is what it was called first.
Well, there you
Just
go.
throwing that out there.
By the way, it's historical proof that the citizens used to have better guns than the government.
Indeed.
Just saying. Like when the Second Amendment was written, the people had better
Well,
guns
if
than the
we only
government.
talk man-portable small arms, we still do.
This is true.
They just get
This is
cool as
very
shit
true, actually.
bolts onto the outside of it.
Yeah, like if they would just make it easier for us to have, real cannons and not black powder ones or fighter aircraft, that would be pretty awesome.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind a black powder.
Well, you can have
cannon.
those. Well, maybe not in Washington. I don't know what it's like out there.
I don't know. I can't keep up with the laws. That's what's funny to me is I didn't know that there had been magazine restriction laws passed in the state. I had no fucking clue. I just stopped listening. And then I went and I looked and it's like, oh, hey, there's no way for us to enforce this.
Good, because I wasn't going to follow it.
Because, yeah, I was like, first of all, good. I wasn't going to follow it. But it's so ambiguously written because they weren't going to force dates on magazines. There's zero way to tell which magazine is which magazine. You go to Idaho, buy 50 of them, take them out of the packaging, drive back. I had these. That's all you need is a legal defense because they can't prove otherwise
right now. But it's way easier to make an addendum to an existing law than it is to get the whole law passed in the first place. Like,
so addendum a serial number on the magazines. I already
no,
had.
I mean, they may come up and go, okay, well, we're outlawing all these things, and then unless you can prove that it wasn't a pre-ban, or you know what I mean, like
get rid of the clause and say,
yeah,
it's illegal regardless of when you got it.
Yeah, they'll get rid of the stipulation, not the.
Yeah, they're never. No state government's ever going to do that. That's the fucked up thing. They're just not going to do that.
I grew up in a state that did that. So, like, no, I grew up in New Jersey. Like, don't take it for granted, man. Like, you guys fight it every step of the way, or it's lost.
Oh, Washington, we have zero authority. The entire populace, first of all homeless people get to vote in this state. You don't need to put where you live as part of voting. And so the entire population on the West Coast here is votable.
Shouldn't you be able to vote though if you're homeless?
Why not? I don't think you should. What's your fucking investment in the state? What is your investment other than give me free shit?
You're still a person, right? You still the government still has agency over you.
If you're homeless, are you a resident of that state?
Well, it's you're essentially going to pick a place.
Technically, they are.
Just pick a place to register, right?
So, yeah,
you can't be registered in multiple locations, but I'm just saying, like the whole idea is we built a government around the idea of every person having some sort of say in it. Like, just because you don't have a home doesn't mean that you don't pay taxes. Just because you don't have a,
I don't know. The founding fathers were pretty certain about making it a constitutional republic, not a democracy.
Right, but just because it's like, but okay, so we tax people without representation. We don't get.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying,
I'm not arguing
that. Sometimes I pick up on a thing that's like, oh, that's an interesting topic to talk about.
Well, yeah, they do that in Washington D.C. Tax people without representation.
For sure.
Tax without representation is true. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think DC residents shouldn't be paying taxes. You're right. I also, but that That's the murky bit of it. Like Washington, all of my electors go to the popular vote. Like they have completely removed my need to vote because the population of Washington will never turn red.
That's why I left New Jersey.
Won't even
I have no say there.
Yeah,
it's.
I'm here for a few more reasons other than political stuff. So I'm staying here, but it's just like are you gonna vote? Why? you did what you set out to do. You made me apathetic to the vote for myself here in Washington because, like, although now it's taxation without representation because I'm not properly represented. But it's always the same thing in this state. We're trying, not hard enough. Have you tried flipping tables and challenging people to duels? Because I will tell you this: Washington is a mutual combat state. There are only 2 in the entire United States. Texas and Washington are the only 2 mutual combat states in the Union. So every time I see a Republican here in Washington say, we're doing our best, I'm like, have you challenged them to a duel yet? Then I don't think you are. Because if you beat them so badly that they can't do their job, then they can't do their job anymore. It's just a suggestion.
It would be interesting to see duels make a comeback.
I would love to see politicians.
I'm okay with duels.
I would love to see that.
I'm okay with forced duels. Like, I think politicians should have to live like a gladiator's life. Like, you want to play, on the big boy level. You want to be in you want to be in office. Great. At the end of that office, you have to fight to the death of somebody else in another office.
Trial by combat.
You want to stay in office? Fine. Fight it out.
If you're young and spry enough to fight this guy,
yeah,
you can stay. That would get rid of all these octogenarians and
that way at least we get like a champion of the system that rises to the top.
Yeah. I would be down for it. I would pay to see politicians fight each other.
We could probably reduce the deficit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know why we haven't started.
There'd be no more drug crisis because people are like, I can't afford drugs. I keep paying all this money to watch politicians kill each other.
I don't know what an OnlyFans is. I'm watching these guys punch each other. Chuck Schumer's taking on Nancy Pelosi tonight at 9.
Maybe her top will get ripped off. She got like 2 12-pound fucking canned hams in there.
Mike, you can't do that. She's got brand new titties.
She could probably afford them.
Well, yeah, but that.
All right, so what do you think, guys? We're at 2 hours.
Oh, fuck. Damn.
And
Pop smoke.
It's like 10 o'clock here on Eastern time where the real people live.
Oh, yeah.
7:04 here. There's a 3-hour time difference.
I'm ready for bed. I've been up since 4. All right.
Oh, I'm all set if you guys are. I think we just killed off your entire viewing audience. Mike's almost
20
dead.
Some up there. It looks like.
Wow.
29.
Oh damn. The 40K lord did not chase them all away. I'm a little surprised.
Meanwhile, there's probably the Audible subscriptions have gone up 20-fold of any 40K book. There's 20 people that are probably like, oh, I'll give it a listen. Fuck it.
I hope everybody bought Horus Rising and I get my Amazon affiliate thing.
I'm specifically going to do it in an incognito window just so that you don't get your kickback.
I was going to lend you my paperback, but
I'll never read it. I'll never.
I will caution those who do Audible. Some of the narrators really make those books hard to get through. That's something I learned about Audible. It's like, oh, there's a line of narrators I can't fucking stand. Oh no.
On the flip side, though, I've listened.
He narrated.
On the flip side, I've listened to some books just because of the narrator, And I highly recommend
Yes.
that technique because there were some books that I've listened to now that I'm like, damn, that's one of my favorite books ever. Just because Ray Porter, he's the only audiobook artist that I know. He read. I just started buying every book that he read, and I found some really good ones.
Jonathan Keeble does the entire Gottschalk and Felix series, as well as several other books on Audible, and he's like Games Workshop's personal employee, apparently, even though he does a lot of other stuff. So, that's always just my caution for people doing the Audible version is careful. Narrators can suck, but it might not be a bad story. It's just this is a rough narrator.
All right. So with that, let's pop smoke, call for a hot extract or whatever it is the kids are saying nowadays.
I need dinner.
All right, everybody that's out there, thanks for checking in. Thanks for listening to us talk about 40K and slings and
Star Wars.
If you want to come here, all talk
and Star Wars,
August 2nd and 3rd, we'll all be there, and a bunch of other cool guys too. Take it easy.